is an important one, because otherwise, if the outcome of the Leveson inquiry and if the outcome of this in any way infringes on newspapers being able to hold those in power to account, i.e. hold investigations into wrongdoings.
Do you believe it will eliminate either both paying off the police and hacking for stories?
I think what needs to happen, there needs to be an outcome where those who are responsible are punished, and that would send out a message for this never to happen again. I think it cannot be swept under the carpet. I think the way the press is regulated it has to be regulated in a way which is independent and is transparent, and to making sure that this would never happen again. But the outcome has to also be able to allow for free and investigative journalism. But that said, I think it's very important that whatever happened never happens again, because it was absolute abuse of power from all sorts of angles.
Yeah. Did you send a tweet or an email to Lord Leveson that said something remarkable?
I said that I think it's unreasonable for individuals to fund newspapers, put millions and millions into newspapers, and not be able to have access to politicians. What I mean by that is that the Lebedevs have spent 75 million pounds on both the Independent and the Evening Standard in the last 3 years. Both the Guardian, the Times and the Independent put together lose more than 100 million pounds annually, which have to be funded. And I think if we put all sorts of regulations and controls on society, we'll risk creating what I call tyranny of consensus, because what it means is if politicians become very concerned and very afraid to say things, to do things, to meet people, to discuss, if, say, the press becomes regulated as well, the banks become regulated.
Okay, but let me make sure I understand, because when I first read that, I thought you were saying, look, if you have media power, you have access to people in power. It's the nature of the relationship,
yes,
which is true anyway.
Yes.
I mean, you look at the editorial board of any major newspaper, and politicians and other kinds of people are streaming in to have conversations, to explain, and both sides like that. It gives you, if you're a politician, a chance to explain yourself, and it gives you, if you're a journalist, to try to get some kind of explanation of what the purpose.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. The problem is, of course, when it becomes a problem, is when those who do get access to the politicians are trying to influence a particular government policy in favor of their commercial interest. Exactly. That's when it becomes a problem.
You think that's what happened with B-Sky-B?
Yes. And I think, we will find out, I think, as the Leveson inquiry continues. We'll find out as more information comes out through the police investigation. I think Leveson inquiry will shed more light on the B-Sky-B. But I think the problem is when those who have access to politicians are being allowed to influence government policy in order to further their commercial interest. Otherwise, I don't see any problem with journalists being in touch with politicians, proprietors being in touch with politicians. And if there are too many controls on that, I think society becomes too overregulated and overcontrolled, where everybody is afraid to say the wrong thing, make the wrong step, make the wrong move, give the wrong interview, and then